On today's episode of Real Hoop Hours, we're talking about Dyson Daniels, and how he's been showing out for the Hawks since being traded there from New Orleans. After that, we got our teams of the week. In Real Hoop Hours, discussing the broken Mavs. Yes, they're broken. And what's wrong with them? You'll have to wait and find out. After that, we got our therapy session, and then we have our starting five draft of NBA fusions, taking two players, fusing them together. And the last thing I'll say before we get started is that if you're an avid Real Hoop Hours listener, please, it'll take 2 seconds, rate the show on Spotify if that's where you're listening, rate it on Apple Podcasts, like, subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell icon, get notified whenever we release. But without further ado, let's ride.
Welcome to Real Hoop Hours with Nick and Heem. Nick, how you doing today, sir?
Dude, I'm living the dream.
There we go. I will say that I'm doing as aight as a person could be. But episode 4, pumped. All right. The
Dude,
fact
we're
we
here,
made this far, we're doing amazing, sir.
Yeah, we need to figure out a name for our fans. What are our listeners, rather? Like, you know how people like they have like Taylor Swift listeners are Swifties. Like, I don't know, pardon my take, listeners are AWLs, the award-winning listeners. Okay. I kind of just like calling them sickos. If you're listening to this show, you're probably just a sicko.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to call them time wizards, but I mean,
Time
sicko
wizards?
Works too. Yeah, that was what I was thinking in my head.
I like
But
time wizards. I don't see the correlation, but it sounds really cool.
Yeah. Well, that's literally it. It's just so cool that after some time, everybody's like, "Oh, we're the time wizards,"
Yeah.
That little Yu-Gi-Oh reference for anybody.
Okay. Yu-Gi-Oh was like, never got back into Yu-Gi-Oh after like just watching it on Toonami at like 1 a.m. as a 9-year-old.
Yeah, it's not much to watch. I only played the game by this point, so
it doesn't stand the test of time.
Oh no, all this is dad jokes, but they're doing great. But I do want to lead us right into our first segment today. Good Morning NBA. And today we're talking about somebody who took an advantage of their new home in the Atlanta Hawks, Dyson Daniels, who is possibly having one of the greatest defensive seasons I think we've ever seen by this point.
It is. He's setting records like for like stretches of games, like most steals in a 5-game stretch. Like, he's got the record.
Oh yeah, I saw one that, and this is
we should say his name first. Have we said his name yet?
Oh yes, I definitely have. Dyson Daniels.
Okay, Dyson Daniels. Okay, cool.
Or DD Daniels, however you want to go about it.
What'd you call him?
But I saw DD Daniels.
DD.
I don't know if that's going to catch on in any way possible, but I'm just going to throw that out there. But I did see one stat that was amazing to me, where the NBA record for deflections in a season is like 302. If Dyson Daniels continues the pace that he's at, he would have over 600. Yeah,
he would like easily double it. He'd have the record broken. Because what was it? Something like 70 deflections through 10 games or something like that.
Yeah. Like his steals and everything the numbers are crazy at the moment, and it's like, and they're not saying his on-ball defensive numbers aren't like insane, because there's not too many stats that you can use for on-ball, defense other than field goal percentage. That's not insane. But other than that, the steals, deflections, blocks, even, it's like, my God.
Yeah. And just, he passes all the eye tests as well. Like, you can go on, NBA.com and look at the weird, like, advanced, even like the hustle stats and stuff for defense. And like, that doesn't, I mean, this guy's not this crazy great defender, but it's like when a guy is meeting the analytical numbers that say he's the best, and then he's also like, you watch him in game and you're like, oh my gosh, this dude is a terror on ball.
There you go.
Like, he looks awesome. But dude, it just goes to show how much basketball, not only the NBA, but just basketball, is a lot about time and place, like timing, situation. And that's like, make or break guys' entire careers. You know?
Literally, opportunity is all Dyson Daniels needed. Now, I will be on record, and anybody that's followed me for a while knows I had zero faith in Dyson Daniels.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that good last year either.
I didn't. So I will admit that I'm not going to be one of those people that always try to sit up and act like they saw everything. I didn't. So Dyson Daniels, big ups to you, but I did want to correlate this back to calling other people stupid. And the New Orleans
As
Pelicans.
always.
Yes, because my gosh, man. I'm gonna let you start this actually. Of how should they look at this trade by this point, at least early?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about New Orleans, man. One, their GM gone, brand new GM that made this trade, like brand new. And the thing is, like, yeah, you're like, we need a point guard. Dyson is, I think when he was in New Orleans, he was listed as a point guard. I think he's a true 2. I think we know that now.
Yeah. True or
but
awful.
He's not. Yeah, but he's not really a floor spacer, and he is a solid playmaker. So it's kind of like, but he didn't look great at the 1, and I think they were wise to not try to make him the 1. But I mean, yeah, you got to be kicking yourself a little bit, obviously. And I liked your video because everyone in New Orleans is hurt right now. Everyone is hurt, and I don't know if they're actually hurt or if they have just already thrown in the towel for the season. Like, we're sitting everyone. The Cooper lottery means that much to us.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, you hope, like, and I think we said it on like episode 1. I think you said it. We're like, is DeJounte a good defender, or do we just still think he is? You know?
That's the thing. And this is one of the things I talk about, where I say in the NBA, the problem with your perception of players is that it's always 2 years behind. Right, you're never in.
If something changes,
mindset.
You're going to be 2 years late at least.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, it's like every player that you know, and when you're thinking about them, right? If you haven't watched them in a while, you're always 2 to 3 years behind. And like most of the NBA world was behind on DeJounte Murray. And now I like the trade immediately for the Pelicans because I thought everybody was going to play.
Yeah,
and come to find out. Nobody for New Orleans is playing basketball.
That's what always happens in New Orleans, bro. It's just like, man, if we were healthy, who knows? Who knows? And then like we see a flash of it. You get like 10 games of full strength Pelicans every year, you know, and one of those was the plan.
And that's the thing is, like, I remember I was talking to somebody about like how are all these like pieces with CJ, Brandon Ingram, DeJounte, Zion, like how is all this, and Trey Murphy, you got to get him minutes in there, and Herb, like how's this all gonna fit together? And then I said they're not. It's never gonna happen.
The Pelicans might be,
yeah,
they might be the most like 2K built team of all time. Are they like the most 2K GM? Just like, dude, let's just get hoopers on this squad.
Let's just get dudes
point guard. Yeah, it's like, well, I guess we'll get DeJounte. He'll lock up.
That's what you said. They had a new GM that made this trade. It's like he was definitely like on the sticks, and then it was like, nah, this shit is crazy.
He's
I'm definitely doing this.
Yeah, and I the need, like, it makes sense. It made sense at the time. It's like you needed a point guard. DeJounte was definitely being shopped around, and at the time I was like, this is a good trade. And I'm not saying it's a bad one. It could still be a win-win trade. I just think like, yeah, everyone loves to pile on when a guy gets traded that wasn't doing something and then he goes to a new situation where like Trae Young is the point guard and they need like a dude that doesn't need a ton of touches for them to play their best basketball. And DeJounte,
there you go.
He needs touches at the end of the day. So like Dyson is the perfect Robin to Trae's. Not that he's the Robin of the team, but like in terms of that guard spot, perfect counterpart. Like he's young, he's spry, he's obviously an incredible defender. Good playmaker within the offense.
There you go.
He's going to give you 10, 8 and a few steals, maybe a block or two. Hustle guy. You need him.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it is that I actually looked at his improvement as a player kind of slightly. And the main thing that really improved was his 3-point shooting, but really his volume and his percentage is climbing.
Yeah.
And at this moment, the trend is still continuing. So actually, you're looking at a potentially really good player for your team. If he can be 38, 39% on good volume while being that great a defender, that's amazing. Plus, with Jalen Johnson also getting a lot better, it seems like every single game.
If there's a Robin in Atlanta, it's Jalen.
It's Jalen.
I mean, he's tough, bro. He does everything. He does everything, dude.
Yeah.
He's he's good at everything. It's not like oh yeah, he's not bad at anything. He's not Torian Prince. No, he's good at everything. Yeah. You know?
Like, the Torian Prince trade is amazing.
I mean, Torian Prince is always my like go-to. He's not bad at anything. And that's like good. Yeah. You're going to get minutes on an NBA team if you have no real gaps in your game.
Yeah.
But like
very much.
I don't know. You're
not really
good
at it.
You're not going to be a needle mover. If you're starting on a team and you're a Torian Prince-ish player, you're not moving the needle most likely.
In any way possible too. And that's why
he's the best depth piece on the Bucks right now too, which is nuts. Shout out Torian. Come on the pod.
Yeah, I was about to say, Torian, we don't mean what we say. You know, well, at least
I think you're a good player. Being as an like by the NBA standard, if I say you're not bad at anything, you're incredible at everything.
There you go.
I can say that DeAndre Jordan is like, or not, maybe not DeAndre Jordan, but like, trying to think, like Giannis is not a good free throw shooter by any standard. Like I could get on the line and I could probably make more free throws than Giannis could.
I couldn't.
I'm trying to think of a bad free throw shooter. I don't know if Giannis is the best example. Probably not.
No, good. I mean, no, I say for you, that's possible. For me, it's not. But as somebody that shot 60% in high school, I'm definitely not, beating Giannis in the free throw competition. Yeah. Oh, no. It looked a lot better because those garbage time free throws brought the percentage back up, But if it was
my junior year in college, I love to like find a little stat that I had somehow gotten because I was like fringe rotation guy all 4 years for anyone who doesn't know. But I shot 100. I was 2 for 2 one season from the free throw line. I got fouled once, knocked them both down. And
there you go.
I always told everyone, I was like, I led the conference in free throw percentage, tied for first.
Tied
I was like, did you like? How do you know that? I was like, I know. I didn't qualify. If we're doing makes, like if there's a qualification on attempts and makes, like I didn't. But
I mean, forget the qualifications.
Yeah, it's just pure stats. I'm a stat truther. Yeah, at the end of the day, exactly. None of this extra BS.
You didn't lie. First off, you didn't lie. All right. We condone the truth on this podcast, and you told the truth. Now, if you stretch the truth, stretch it like hell, then yeah, maybe. But you told the truth.
If we do one thing on this podcast, we're promoters of truth and facts.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying Dyson Daniels is better than DeJounte Murray. Oh,
yeah, we're not nerds though. If anyone calls us a nerd, blocked. We'll block you from the podcast.
There you go. And that's why I say my final thoughts about this trade is DeJounte better get his ass on the court and he better get the hooping. Because at this moment, Atlanta Hawks fans are, and also want to make sure before we move on, Nick, this is what my PSA to Atlanta Hawks fans. I'm trying to get this message out there. Y'all need to be better people. All right. Y'all need to stop going on Pelicans Twitters, Pelicans forums, and Pelicans Instagrams. Y'all need to calm down and stop laughing in their comment sections. I've noticed this. They are the worst people I've ever seen. Well, I mean, every single game the Pelicans lose, there's a Hawks fan there. I didn't even know it was that serious. I just say,
Atlanta sports fans, they don't have much. All right,
man.
They had the Braves, and the Braves just always seem to blow it, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a big baseball guy. It's not that they lost early in the. Who did they lose to? They lose to the Padres, I think. But either way, Atlanta sports fans. The Falcons lost to the Saints last week and the Broncos. This past week, the Broncos 2 weeks ago.
Actually, to the Broncos. Yeah, 38-6 to the Broncos yesterday.
Bo Nix is just tearing that ass up. Rest in peace. Hey, you know what? I'm going to give Atlanta sports fans a little bit of a pass. Be nicer, but you're allowed to victory lap on this trade. Just a little bit. Be nice. New Orleans doesn't have much either. Remember they were 2-0 and
Yeah,
the Saints
I
were
was
2-0.
about to
Everyone's like
say.
best team in football. The murder rate had dropped significantly, and then they lost like 8 straight
Right back up.
until they fired
Right.
Dennis Allen. Then they lost to the Panthers. They fired Dennis Allen, and they're like, time to beat the Falcons. So
That's why I'm saying you're saying that Atlanta doesn't have much. New Orleans really doesn't have much.
they don't have much either. Yeah, New Orleans is
Their ship is going downhill in basketball,
get
and
them a hockey
we're
team,
ragging on
man.
them. Yeah, that's what they need.
Yeah.
But Dyson Daniels, thank you for playing good basketball.
Well, all right. That was Good Morning NBA. Shout out the Hawks playing good basketball. But now it's time for Team of the Week, where we like to put forward a team and put them in the spotlight and give them some shine for doing something. The criteria of what something is, because it can be very different. But either way, Heem, take it away. Who's your Team of the Week?
For my team of the week, I had no choice, and in picking the Cleveland Cavaliers, we said, "Oh yes, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up."
Clap.
We said last week that I have to pick the Cleveland Cavaliers until they lose. They are 15-0. The year that we start a pod is the year the fourth team in NBA history ever starts 15-0. So
It's crazy.
If y'all want some type of spoiler for next week, if the Cavs are also 18 or 19-0 next week, that was be my team of the week.
It's not a
speak about the
coincidence.
Cavs. Yeah, and I don't even know what to say about the Cavs that I didn't say last week. They're just still playing amazing basketball.
Yeah.
So
Playing Kenny
honestly,
ball.
yeah. I mean,
Kenny
and
Atkinson ball.
Kenny
Yeah.
Atkinson. Look, I will say, for a coach to get back into a job and go 15-0, I know he's walking around different now. I mean, I know he's talking to people a little bit different than he did before.
He's been a good coach though. Like I forget, what was he in Brooklyn?
I loved him on the Nets. Yeah, he was in the Nets.
and
I loved
so
him then.
and so like he got offered the job in Charlotte, and apparently they were talking about drafting guys, and he's like, well, we're taking this guy, right? And MJ was like, no, we're taking this dude, and like put his foot down, and Kenny was like, you know what, if this is the way it's going to be, I'm just not going to get involved, and just like
There you go.
left the job and went to be an assistant for the Warriors. Nuts.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Hey, and then now he's back in the job. Cleveland also being the head coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's a good ass job to get. All right, you got Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. You got some players.
Yeah, hopefully he'll try to develop Evan Mobley somewhat. He's just been like the same player since he was a rookie.
Yeah, man.
He's just a little more physically able and stronger. But
I've made the point before that Evan Mobley doesn't really have a skill set that's very conducive to improving a bunch, right? Meaning that he's not really that shifty to have it handle, right? He's a little too stiff to have a really good jumper.
I think if anything, he could start spacing the floor. Like anyone can catch and shoot. I'm sorry, his mechanics are solid. It's just reps and confidence. But
yeah. I mean, I hope it. But Cleveland Cavaliers,
shout out to Cavs.
Team of the week. Yes, shout out to the Cavs, and I am hoping that y'all keep winning, so I don't have to use my brain next week. Nick, you go ahead. Your team of the week, sir.
Yeah, my team of the week, and this is a precursor to the Real Hoop Hour segment, but my team of the week is the Utah Jazz, because they are clap it up for the Jazz.
Congratulations.
They are the worst team in the league. I have it on a pretty good authority that they are just trying to lose this year. Like they're just super young. Like it makes sense. They are trying to lose. They will most likely be sellers at the trade deadline. 2 of the 3 pieces, meaning like, or maybe even 4 of like Laurie, Jordan Clarkson, John Collins, and Colin Sexton. 2, if not 3 of those guys will be dealt at the deadline.
Yeah.
At least 2. So
definitely Clarkson.
And they beat the Mavs.
Yeah,
they looked like the better team against the Mavs. The Mavericks just kind of like hung around and then like had a chance to win the game. And it is the NBA. I get it's the NBA, but the Mavericks are so incredibly buns. But yeah, shout out to the Utah Jazz team of the week.
Shout out to John Collins truthers, man. Shout out to John Collins truthers. I don't know how many y'all are out there, but y'all had a good day that day.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, I know the Mavericks are buns. And on Nick's description. He will go further into this in the show. But I do want to give a shout out to Jordan Clarkson for the slowest wide open pass I've ever seen somebody throw in my life. Um, and now it could have been strategic. But like, hey, let's wait. Let's take as much time off the clock as I can. But Nick, I know you know which play I'm referring to. Of Luka standing in the same spot for like 5 seconds, and John Collins standing right behind him, and him being wide open. And as what I love about this play is that as much as Luka had his controller off, Jordan Clarkson also had his controller off. And if Luka woke up for 1 second, he would have missed a wide open dunk per game because Jordan was like 3 seconds late. And that's what I'm saying. That whole play, I can see all the old heads of like, hey, what is this? I think like
you don't think to look in the dunker spot from the top of the key, like or from the top of the 3-point line.
That's very true.
You never look there. Like, why would that be open? It's like of course it's covered. You haven't started any action yet. And you're just like,
of course it's covered.
Oh shit, dunk. Golly, but we'll get into that. Yeah. Should we just segue now?
You know what? Let's just go ahead and do it.
Why not?
Right into
I'm ready.
Real Hoop Hours.
Yeah.
There you go. For Real Hoop Hours this week, we have just a overview of the Dallas Mavericks and what is going wrong with them. The team that was just in the finals last year, but very much does not look like that same team this year. But I will say, does look like the same team, just way less efficient. But I will send it right to you, Nick. What is your overarching biggest problem you see with the Mavericks at this moment?
Well, I'll call it leadership from in any way, shape, or form. Leadership. So coaching, the dudes at the top that are the player leaders that are supposed to be, leading in all ways, shapes, and forms. But I'll start with the coach and the fact that last year, at least post trade deadline, this team seemed to have an identity. It had nothing to do with what we did on the offensive end. It was like, hey, we're going to guard. We're going to throw different stuff at you. We got a bunch of switchable dudes. We got high energy defenders, and we got 2 centers that are going to anchor down the paint and block shots and rebound and just be absolute dogs in the trenches. This year we've dealt with some injuries in the front court. So PJ being hurt for a little bit, Lively's hurt right now. And just not have, especially like those 2 guys are huge for us, but we don't guard special. Like we have. What's that?
I got it. I gotta give Lively his credit though. I think a lot of people didn't understand how important and how well he played last year.
I mean, he's better. Like Daniel Gafford starts, but Lively plays more minutes because he is a better all-around player. Like Gafford's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say this to throw any shade on Gafford, but like what Derek Lively gives you on the defensive end, the dude, like people are like, oh, what do you like? Because sorry, I need to slow down because I'm getting heated up. I'm getting riled. I'm getting a little riled. We're gonna turn it down just a notch, but people will ask me, oh, like you don't think Rudy Gobert should be depoy? Like I'm like, yeah, because he can't guard in any spot except for right next to the rim. Like what do you want centers to do? I'm like, Derek Lively. The dude moves. He can guard in space. Obviously, he's better around the rim, but he's not an absolute liability outside of the paint. He's active. He's vocal. He plays hard. And then on the offensive end, dude, he's an incredible short roll passer. Obviously, we know what he is as an athlete and a lob finisher. He's taken steps from last year to this year and just being able to have some counters in his game. If he does catch the ball on the block and he's got to take one dribble to the middle and throw up a hook, he can do that. He can jump stop, pump fake, step through. Like he's looking like a more complete player. So not having him really, it hurts, but
yeah.
And also looking at the identity, just Derek Jones Jr. not being there, that hurts too. And Josh Green, but sorry, go ahead.
I will admit, because I was about to say that I didn't understand how much not having Josh Green actually mattered. Right?
It was a great rotational piece for us.
I didn't, and that's the thing about the NBA that I am still a little behind on is the importance of rotational pieces and championship teams. right? Because somebody like Derrick Jones, I was like, okay, they can somehow replace that over time. Really, when it comes to his athleticism, his defensive capabilities, I was like, that's gonna be tough. But I was saying you could find that somewhere else. But
Yeah.
Josh Green, it was weird because his role on the team, when it came to that 3-point shooting, the athleticism from up and down, being able to run with Luka and Kyrie, and that kind of
Pitch
is
ahead
the
guy. We get a
IQ.
stop. Pitch it
Yeah,
ahead to Josh is always just screaming down the court.
and the thing is, his energy was great. And I'm like, and I start to watch the Mavericks again. I'm realizing that you can't really replace that at the role and like really the like role he had is that he just kind of did it so well.
I'll tell you what our attempt to do that was Quentin Grimes. And I like Quentin. And he is, I mean, you say he's a better shooter, but Josh Green did shoot 41 from 3 during the regular season, and in the playoffs, hard drop off in the playoffs because I mean, Josh had never. This was the first year that he shot the ball well. I don't know what he's shooting it in Charlotte right now, but either way, like I thought in the front office as well was like, yeah, Quentin Grimes will step into that role nicely. He's a good defender, but he's not the athlete that Josh Green is. He's not going to make the energy hustle plays that Josh Green will. And I think the Derrick Jones Jr. replacement was Najee Marshall, who has been great. Like I like Najee a lot. I think
you spoke
he gives you
before the season started too. You spoke highly of Najee, and I was like, I believed also.
I mean, Luka said it best. He's like, he's just a very complete player. Like he guards, he is fine off ball. He's fine as the primary ball handler, secondary ball handler. Like he gives you a lot of what Dylan Brooks gives you, funny enough, but he's a better playmaker. You know, I don't think he shot it exceptionally this year. I think he had a really slow start. I think it took him like 3 games to hit a 3, but he is a good shooter. I think he shot about 39 in New Orleans last year. But at the end of the day, you do take some steps back. That's my point is we took steps back defensively with our personnel and the injuries, but this team has no identity. When your offensive game plan is to isolate 2 guys for 70, 80% of your possessions, you don't have an offensive identity. You're relying on 2 guys to do so much for you.
Yeah.
So much. And at the end of the day, it's just like, and I talked to my buddy about this, and, you know, we were on the same page, and he brought up a good point that using Luka like this is going to put miles on him very quickly. He has the highest usage rate in the league.
Yeah, same thing happened to Harden.
Exactly. And like I hope he stays in Dallas his whole career, but there are ways to keep him heavily involved and to have him take the same amount of shots that he's taking without just relying on him to create his own shot every single possession.
Yeah. Well, also the thing about the Mavericks last year is that one of the misconceptions is that Kyrie and Luka were just isoing the whole time. Like that was one of the biggest misconceptions until the playoffs came around, where you're like, oh, there's been 4 possessions where Luka hasn't done a single thing, and they've scored on all 4 of those possessions, right? Where when you have possessions like that for a star player, that allows them to be much better when they do get the ball and they do go back to isoing, is that now they have those possessions where they can say, all right, let me just give this to PJ on the block. He's going to make a move, get in the middle of the floor, pass it out to Kyrie, and then now it's just natural ball movement. But this year,
you got dominoes.
Yeah, it's so weird where it's like they look the same. Like I'll say it like this: the first 5 seconds of a Mavericks like offensive possession looks the same, but the last 10 to 12, I'll say 10 to 13,
if
looks
we get
way
there.
different.
If we even get to 12 to 13.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the part that looks different to me.
Yeah, and it's just frustrating because like we'll have stretches of like, man, that thing's pinging around, like where, you know, like we've talked about when you get one domino to fall and then it's like a pump fake drive, baseline hammer pass, +1 drive, jump stop, pass to the wing to the corner, open shot. It's like we'll have stretches where we look like that, and then usually in the third quarter, sometimes in the fourth, it just devolves. It devolves over the game into something much uglier, which is like we get that first domino to fall, and then the ball gets back to Luka, or Luka or Kyrie, and then it just sticks, and it's like, okay, now it's ISO time, and it's like, man, if you would have just caught it and even just put it on the floor and driven, jump stop, and just seen what you had, like you're still being the same level of effective as a player, and really you're gonna probably create more good looks, because we talked about last episode the difference between just getting a lot of threes up and getting a lot of good looks from three up. And the Celtics do it better than anyone right now. They're shooting 53s a game, and probably 30 to 35 of them are really, really good looks. Like not a lot of teams can say that. The Mavericks could be that team. We just choose not to be. And it starts at the top. It starts with Jason Kidd being a former point guard head coach, which is this long correlation with just not doing shit, not telling anyone to do anything on the offensive end, because it's like, I'm sure as a player, he didn't want to be micromanaged. So he doesn't want to like make other guys do it. Like be like breathing down their neck. But like that often leads to just bad teams, mismanaged teams that don't play to their potential that their personnel has. And going from a Rick Carlisle team to a Jason Kidd team is just so black and white, exact opposite. I hate it. I hate it here. I will say, and I'm glad you got that out. But I will say, as a devil's advocate, as somebody that coaches, that kind of sees the game like Jason Kidd, right? The reason why it looks different in the third or fourth quarter is because you want to limit the amount of bad possessions you have in the second half. And the main way that you can limit bad possessions is understanding the motion that's going to happen. And when it comes to ISO ball, it's the easiest way for a coach to understand how to put one person in this position, right? It's bad because it leads to very lazy basketball. But in a situation where you're giving Kyrie the ball or Luka the ball in an ISO situation, it never feels like a wasted possession. It never feels like a wasted opportunity. Yeah, but dude, this isn't like it's not high school basketball. It's the NBA. Every guy is capable, and you should have I don't know what you whether it's an armband, you got a binder, Jason Kidd. You should have a ton of plays that you can call after in the third quarter when we isolate 5 possessions in a row and shoot the ball within the first 8 seconds of the shot clock, clank, and then it leads to a rebound, kick out in transition, easy bucket for them. Then we're back on offense. When that happens 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a row, call a play, draw something up, call and it just he doesn't call timeouts until we're in a 15 point, like 12 to 15 point hole. He waits, and then like here we are. Now we're down, and we always come back. We always make it a game because we have those two guys. But I see what you're saying of like, giving those guys the ball is never a bad idea in an isolation situation. If you get a good switch that you like, or against, I mean, Luka really against anyone, like he's going to be able to score. But I mean, make it easier on your star players.
Yeah, it's extremely lazy though.
And he's getting lazy on offense too, where it's like he's going to take the pull up if it's quasi there, rather than like, hey, Luka, you're taking 10 threes a game. You know where you can, maybe take less and get better looks for your teammate is if you get 2 feet in the paint. I have to see the number. I don't know how to track that stat. I'm sure the Mavericks have it tracked somewhere, but I need to see the statistic of points per possession when at some point Luka touches a foot at least in the paint with the ball in his hands. Because I guarantee you it is nuts. And that's how Rick Carlisle had the best offense of all time at the time, 2019, 2020, with Luka and Porzingis running the pick and roll. Because guess what it gave Luka the ability to do? He could get downhill without having to change direction 4 or 5 times. Like, it's that simple. And I know that like Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford aren't the same like stretch pick and pop threats, but just run Spain. Have Clay set the back screen and pop afterwards. You could run the Spain pick and roll every single possession as you're like, hey, we didn't get something right away. Shot clock play is always a Spain pick and roll. Yeah. It blows my mind that is not common sense for an organization with the blueprint was already there. It was already in front of you. But yeah.
Yeah, so see, and this is why I am important in this conversation. Is I notice I'm gonna be a lot of devil's advocate here, where it's not. I should say this: I'm not justifying. I'm just what is that word?
Oh, you got
Well, what's the word? I forget that word that I'm trying to come up with.
No,
I'm trying to make it make more sense. Yes.
Okay.
Compartmentalize. There we go.
Compartmentalize?
Yes, that's the college word I was trying to go with. But that's not college word. It's very much a junior year word. But I personally I personally understand when I watch the Mavericks on why it always leads him to being lazier. Is because one of the things that a coach cannot do is take less opportunities from their star players, right? And it's something that's a weird medium because you never want to be Dallas of stars do everything, but you never want to be, and you never want to be in a situation where your stars are doing nothing for for stretches.
I'm saying you can take away the shots. Like we just saw a team win the championship by doing that. By making Jason Tatum not the focal point of the offense. And they won a championship.
And
by
that's
letting
why I was
everyone eat.
Boston is a team that is on this other side of the spectrum. Is that a lot of times Jason Tatum will do absolutely nothing for 4 minutes. But a lot of teams can't afford to do that. So when you go to how pretty much what Jason Kidd has to look at the Mavericks, he's saying that we can't get away with our stars not doing anything for stretches. So what it leads him to do is setting things up so that it always ends up back in Luka or Kyrie's hands. And the problem with it, versus difference from last year to this year, is that a lot of dudes were taking those shots before it got back to Kyrie and Luka. Versus this year, it feels like it's always ending up back in their hands. And for a Jason Kidd, so to be kind of on Jason Kidd's side on this, is that sometimes it doesn't feel like it's really a schematic difference. More than the players that are out there are not being okay with taking the shots that they did last year. Like PJ used to shoot a good amount of good threes that were kind of contested, but were
he shoots 7 or 8 a game, and he just corner threes, kickouts.
Yeah, not having him on the court does hurt because now you have a dude that's less confident out there, or a dude that just got acquired that hasn't played with Luka and Kyrie before. That's to say, I have a slight hesitation. Get it back to Kyrie. Get it back to Luka. Now it's even more ISO heavy than it was before, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I will push back and say I disagree because it was the same way last year for the most part. Where dude, it was if you don't have something, get it back to Luka and Kyrie. It was still pretty ISO heavy. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little clouded by just what I've seen most recently. That's definitely a possibility. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the fact that you can still end the possession with the ball in your best player's hands and put them in an opportunity to where they don't have to create everything because
that's why
you can still have Kyrie coming off of a pin down. You can still have a high pick and roll for Luka. A high pick and roll for Luka was the best play in basketball for an entire year. And then we just don't do that anymore.
Yeah, weirdly, I don't understand how Jason Kidd misses out on Nets Kyrie film, where the Nets went back to making Kyrie a shooting guard, but with point guard possessions, where he starts off with the ball in his hands and he'll run the pick and roll. But then after he gets that ball out of his hands, he's coming off pin downs. Hey, he's running action from the corner to the wing.
Yeah.
And it's weird with the Mavericks. It's like, did you not see that? Did you not see how successful he was when he goes from being a point guard to a shooting guard rather than just standing on the wing, or he's just ice wing the whole time? Yeah. It's weird because it feels like they're just missing certain things. And that's why I say I don't know. I don't know what you could possibly if you were in the building with him, Nick, right? It's if I was in the building with him, I don't know what I could tell him that he wouldn't already notice right now.
Oh, I know exactly what I'd tell him.
Actually, yeah.
I
Let me
just
take that back. I don't want you in the building with.
I think it just comes down to like you need to make it easier on your superstars. You need to make it
Always.
easier on the guys who take the majority of your shots to get quality looks. Because sure, are they capable of creating it for themselves every possession? Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
But when a guy that is 6'7" and weighs 260 pounds, like Luka, I mean, Luka's just big. He's big as shit.
Yeah.
It's hard for him to change directions so much just to get one
All
look.
the
And that's
time.
why we see so many pull-ups when he is such a good player with 2 feet in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Like how he doesn't get there super often anymore. He doesn't get there as often as he did 3 years ago. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's still an incredible player when he's not doing that. But, at the end of the day, there has to be a better way. And I know there is, and there are so many options, but Kid won't do that. But I'm not just going to bash Kid. And I do want to, Luka, it's time to take some responsibility, man. It's time to be a leader.
Yeah.
It's time to grow up. It's time to, which this is hilarious. I do enjoy this because it's funny, but when we lose, it makes me mad. Every time you score on someone and you did go to the rim, you don't have to stare down the ref every single time. He doesn't ever stare down players anymore, bro. He just stares down the ref.
We could do that now. We need to start with that.
and stands and like staring at the ref, and he picks up texts, like he turns it over. He thinks he gets fouled. He's dropping his head. Takes his time getting up, like body language.
And the thing is, there's actual numbers that support players that don't overly like antagonize refs get a lot better calls because for the fact that when they do wild out, it's for a reason. And then next time they're going to get that call.
It's the tale as old as time. It's the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah. It's like if you're always yelling about I need a foul, some of those you're lying about.
Yeah,
like,
that's something I got to remind myself on the bench, like as a coach.
Yeah.
Is like
always.
If I harp on every little thing that they don't call, then they're going to tune me out.
Always.
But if I'm like
immediately
pick your battles, then it's like, oh, okay,
there you go.
I'll keep an eye out for it, and then you can have the conversation. And
yeah,
he does have the conversations with the refs, but like, I mean, I'm thinking of just in general when you're a teammate of his on the floor and he turns the ball over and you bust your ass to get back on D, and you get to you stop the ball, it gets swung around, dudes are scrambling, and then it's like a +1 to the corner. Where's Luka? He's just getting across half court after 4 passes in a corner 3. That's not being a good leader. Like, it's just, it is as simple as that. He's not a good leader. Kyrie is Kyrie. I mean, he is, at this point, he's an awesome player. I love him as a Maverick, but he's an individual. Like, that's who he is. And it's okay. But when you don't have that guy to lead, and like, that's why another reason why I was excited about Clay is because this is a dude coming in to a franchise that is on the brink of success, and he has a dynasty's worth of successful experience. And, but he just got there. How vocal can you be? How much, do you want to ruffle feathers? How much do you want to, push Luka and challenge him when you just got there? It's like, maybe not.
And that's why I wanted to say is that the one thing I wanted to acknowledge for Luka is something that players don't acknowledge in any way possible, is that as much as you don't like, because there's this weird ideology with players where they don't want to do everything, but they get mad when they're not doing everything. Where it's like you sitting there, you're like, we down 20 and I have 45. Like, what are y'all doing? Right. But then when you go possession after possession of you not doing a single thing, and then your teammates are messing up, not because they're playing bad, but because it's basketball. Now all of a sudden you want the ball, space out, ISO, get out the way. That's something I say with Luka I've had the biggest problem with, is that he clearly wants to do everything but not. And at times it's like, hey, Luka, you can literally just sit there. And he did this last year with, like, in the beginning of the season with Kyrie really well, where he sit there and just give it back to Kyrie and then get out the way. And it's like, that is a really good thing. Like, you don't understand how important that is for your teammates to just see you say, hey, y'all got it, guys. And that's something where it's like, I never liked that mindset from players in any way possible because they want to win, so they want to control everything, but then clearly be visibly ticked off when they're not.
Yeah, and I mean his tantrums come from like it's almost always the officiating. It very rarely is like someone took a shot before he got to touch it in the possession.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's not usually upset about that. He's usually upset about himself and like he can't get out of his own way. Like he missed a shot or he thought he got fouled or whatever it is. And I know there's an interview with Kristaps Porzingis and talking about like JJ, because JJ was a Maverick for a hot second. And he remembers a time when Rick was, like, guys, we got to like grow up and stop being babies. Like you're being a freaking baby. And Porzingis he's like, I just looked at Rick and I said, why don't you tell Luka to stop being a baby? Because it was really just him in that moment.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need the best player on your team to be a leader of some sort. And if it's not him, it's got to be his Robin that's the vocal leader,
There you go.
And neither of those guys are. Kid isn't that. So at the end of the day, it boils down to the fact that this team has no identity and no leadership.
Yeah,
like,
so
it sounds silly, but that is the issue.
So to lead us out for immediate changes, not really changes, but adjustments, what would you say for this team going forward?
Emphasize paint touches, especially from Luka. At the end of the day, the shot clock play should not be in isolation. It should be a ball screen for Luka. At least mix it in. And because, even Kyrie off ball, if it is a ball screen for Luka every time, Kyrie's a career 40% 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
And driving a closeout is just like a better isolation at the end of the day. So that's what I'd say. Obviously, health is going to help with defense. It's just like I don't understand defensively. Why can't we pick up where we left off last year? I know it's a little bit of a different rotation, but Quentin Grimes is a good defender. Najee Marshall is a good defender. Trying to think who else we picked up defensively. I guess not much. I don't know.
Not much picked up, but there was a lot of dudes that came back that should still be as good.
Yeah, I just want to see more action in general because we'll run something for in the first half. And like I said, the devolving of the possessions throughout the course of a game, and it just always like by the fourth quarter, it's just like give it to Kyrie or Luka, and they go at somebody, and that's it. They might kick it, and there might be a shot or a +1 and then a shot. But if that doesn't happen, if he kicks it and there's nothing there, it's like back out to one of our 2 ISO guys and let him go again until the shot clock is up and we got to put something up.
And that's why I'll say for my adjustments, it definitely more action, just in general, just more NBA level action.
Make it easier on your superstars.
Yeah, definitely the way to start. And defensively, I would personally just not exactly make any desperate changes, but kind of just challenge closeout opportunities. The amount of opportunities they're giving out on closeouts. I notice a lot of over closing, which leads to a lot of bad possessions. Yes, a lot of out of control closing, which there are some moving pieces on that team. That is something that happens a lot with teams that are shifting around a lot. That have a lot of new players in. They get hyper. They get over.
We scrambled well last year, and you're right. We have not scrambled well this year. Out of those out of control closeouts, and that is like guys, being at the end. It is just basketball, but I'll give a little grace there for sure. Like new guys,
that's
capable
where
guys.
That we can also talk about that too. But I would say that is the change I want defensively because personally, I think ideology that they had last year isn't as strong this year, but I think that will get better as the year goes on. But I personally believe over closing is the main thing that if I was a coach, I would emphasize at this point of the season because that's something that's going to help them scramble a lot better defensively as the season goes on. But for now, that's all I could say because I do feel like some part of it just comes from playing, just comes from playing together and still, and just playing good basketball.
Yeah.
So that's all I can give, I would say, for them to approve.
Kid has proven that, his teams get better. They get better.
Yeah.
And they usually get better defensively. And the offense, pretty much just stays the same.
Yeah. But that will be all that we have for Real Hoop Hours, Dallas Mavericks edition. Nick, do you feel good after that?
Yeah, that felt like therapy more than anything,
Yeah,
more than this next segment's about to feel like.
Yeah, but that's the weird part is it leads us right into our next segment, a therapy session with me and Nick. Just get some stuff off our chest from our weeks, from this week. And Nick, I want to ask you, what do you have for us at therapy session this week?
Yeah, and I was just pretty negative. This is the Mavericks right now. They're a dark place for me. It's definitely a place of hurt. But I'm going to introduce a new type of therapy because we got smoked lays, we got offensive fouls,
Yep,
and out of bounds. But now we got I don't know if we've done it out of bounds yet. But either way, I want to introduce one called a lob, where it's like, hey, someone threw me a lob. Just tossed it up right at the rim. Made it easier for me to put it down. Essentially, it's the opposite of a smoked lay, and someone else did something for you, I think. But I'll just get into it. So I told you, and usually our therapy sessions are food related, which is very funny. But this one is too.
Exactly. It's weirdly.
It was Saturday night. Me and the girlfriend were apartment shopping all day, and then I picked up and vacuumed and cleaned some stuff up, started my laundry, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to order a pizza. We're going to call up old Papa John. And by call up, I mean go online. The little Papa's pairing action. Got a medium pie and a papadilla for $14. Can't beat it. No free ads, but
amazing. I mean, those
Papa, Mr. John, if you're listening, give me a call. We'll figure out some sort of deal for real.
And free pizza for the show would be amazing.
That'd be awesome, sir. We'll mention you every day. We'll just be like, yeah, this Real Hoop Hours is brought to you by this delicious Wisconsin 6 cheese. But anyways, I told you about living in Mobile, Alabama, and just fast food is terrible. Just expect to have a bad experience. Ordering food, delivery, has a lower success rate than a drive-through. I have had times where I ordered food and got my food 2 hours later, and then DoorDash or Uber Eats is just yeah, here, we can give you this $3.50 inconvenience fee. I'm like, I feel sick to my stomach because I ate the food anyways, and it just was probably because it had been sitting out for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I ordered the pizza, and I'm on Xbox with my buddy who has always been there for all the bad Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever experiences I've ever had. And I'm like, well, all right, man. The timer says it'll be here by 7:50. Let's remember that and, compare and contrast. It gets through, man. It goes from we're making it to it's ready, waiting for delivery driver to out in 10 minutes. Bang, 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 bang. Whoa, because I'm watching it. I got Tennessee, Georgia on this TV. And then I got the pizza delivery tracker here. And we also watch the fights. The UFC fights were awesome. John Jones, dog. But anyways, dude, I it keeps going. Everything's according to plan. It's getting there quick, very quickly. And at 7:50, it's he's 1 minute away. I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And so I go out to get the pizza, and this dude, Anthony P. Shout out Anthony P. I'm assuming the P stands for pizza because you take your shit serious, brother. He gets out of his car and it's like, hey man, here's your pizza. And I was like, he's like, enjoy. And I was like, yeah, man, thanks. Very, very happy with everything. And he said, hey, can I change my tire in your, I was like, change your tire? He's like, yeah, I just wondering if you don't mind if I just sit in your driveway for a second. I was like, yeah, did you get a flat on the way here? And he was like, yeah. And I was close, so I just rolled in. I was like, hold up, bro.
He just rolled
I said, I got to go back in. I said, stay here. I mean, I know you're not going anywhere, but I got to get you a better tip. So I went inside and grabbed him some cash, gave him extra $10 of dude, thank you. And then even like
wow,
my, I live like in a little
crazy.
mother-in-law suite behind my parents' house. Actually, we're moving out soon. Big ups, big movements. But my dad has like one of those NASCAR air tools, like the like to get the wheel off. And my dad was like that guy's a freaking homie. Like, let's go tell him to pull his car into the driveway. We'll help him change it. Like, get that thing. He didn't have to work the lugs with the tire iron, but he ended up he's got it off pretty quickly. So he just was like, I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, it was awesome. I caught a lob. Wow. Shout out Anthony Pizza. Like I said, assuming that's your last name.
Anthony P, you were the homie, man. That's amazing.
I've had just awful experiences, and that was a breath of fresh air. So
wow. And as you have a breath of fresh air, I have somebody absolutely taking mine away.
He's breathing in a fart.
Yeah, I was saying about therapy session. It wasn't really and the weird thing about this one, it wasn't really a smoked lay. More than this, we're gonna put it under review. Because somebody weirdly messed my day up without trying. And it all started me going to Panda Express. And the thing is, I don't know how many times I've been to Panda Express.
Related, bro.
It's always going to be, because this is where life gets weird for me. When I'm in the house just doing regular things.
It's just like we just complaining about like shitty food experiences.
It's always.
We should just call this Yelp. Honestly, bro. It's Google reviews.
Because if I leave the house, it's for food. That's what it's just work for food. So the only things that happen bad in my life happen outside of this apartment. So that's why literally, when I went to Panda Express, right? I am hungry. It was 7:00. I did not eat all day, right? And I was like, man, how did I let myself go this far without not eating? It's whatever, right? So then I go and I'm just in the line. I'm on my phone. And there's this one dude in front of me, rotund, huge man. I mean,
rotund? That was his name?
No. That's a descriptor. He was like 6'7", like probably like 280, 290, huge dude, right? And I was
gosh,
I'm like, what type of human is this? I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, I guess he plays for the Panthers. So I was like, all right,
tell him the Bears need no linemen.
Yeah, I was in there. I was like, all right, I'm just going to let him order, right? So then he goes, all right, let me get 3 plates, please. And I was like, and I was like, but Nick, this the problem is that when he said that, I saw nobody with him. So then I look around, I say, damn, out loud. I didn't mean to say it out loud. So then, the thing is, weirdly, he didn't hear me. So then I was like, oh, thank God.
He may have heard you, bro, and just been like, yeah, I know. Like, it's 3 plates. That's a lot of food.
And the thing is, he was like, let me get 3 plates. And then he was like, cool. And then he was like, let me get rice and then double orange chicken on one. Let me get rice and then Beijing beef, double Beijing beef on the other one. And he's talking. And then he gets his 3 plates. And then he looks at me. He's like, I'm not, I'm not eating all this, right? And I'm just like, yeah, of course. I mean, now he's a fucking giant, so there's no other response I could give. So I was like,
yeah, whatever of course, bro, makes you not beat my ass, bro.
Yeah, like, I was like, yeah, of course. I'm like, bro, of course I know that. Like, what you doing? He's like, yeah. I was like, it's cool. We keep moving. And then I get my regular plate, right? Because I'm a regular size human. And and then I get mine. And I'm just finally like so happy to get my food. And then he gets there and he's like, now let me get like another side of some more chicken. And then he's holding up the line because it already took forever to get those 3 plates. But then they was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me get another one. There's a doop. Then he was like, hey, let me get one more side of some pepper steak. Now I'm like, all right, brother. I mean, well, you're really testing my patience at this point. and then he's like, all right, that should be all good, right? So then keep in mind, he told me he wasn't going to eat all that food. And I want you to implant this in your brain right now as I keep going, right? We get to the register. All right, she says this wild-ass total for one person. And then she goes, hey, would you like to donate to the children's hospital? And then he was like, no, I'm all good. They'll be all right.
That's crazy, bro.
So crazy. That was
Getting
like,
it's food for 4 people, and then it's like, hey, $1 for the kids.
Yeah,
Nah.
they'll be all right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Keep that in mind. How insane that is. That you just got you have 4 plates worth of food right now, and you say the children gonna be all right.
That's a bad visual. I hope he's not a Panthers player. I hope he's not a Panthers player, bro.
I'm so serious, Nick. I was baffled on what I was looking at. I was like, and then I was like, all right, just kind of just act like you don't see him anymore. Just let this dude live his life, right?
Would you be able to pick him out of a lineup? Sorry, we'll do that. We'll do that later.
I probably would. I'm not gonna lie. I probably could, unless the lineup was literally offensive linemen in the NFL. I could pick him out so easily.
We should look at the Panthers O-line after this.
Yeah, I probably found one of them. And he goes and he has 2 bags and he walks out, right? And the thing is, he walks out the front door and he parked right next to me. And I see him wolfing down these plates, right?
All of them?
I didn't wait that long, Nick, because if he saw me, I was probably going to be dead. So I kind of just saw him and I was like, is that bro that I just... and the thing is, whenever I get back in my car, I wait for a little bit. Because I would, just scroll through Twitter, go on TikTok for a little bit or something. And, his car did not move, but that light was still on. And it was woo, 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 woo. And, I'm sitting there, I'm like, did this dude wolf down those 4 plates? And then, crazy enough, before I left, he walked out, went back inside.
Yeah, let me get another side of orange chicken. Let me.
I was like, I'm leaving before he sees that I'm still here. Because for the fact that him to turn around and be like, I'm not eating all this, to then getting more food on top of the food that he already acknowledged is too much. Right? He already acknowledged that this is a lot of food. Just wanting to get more food, eat that food within 5 minutes, then go back to the restaurant. Again, I don't know if he needed a drink. I don't know if he needed another fork because he ate it. I don't know if he needed anything else. But he went back inside. I left. I was like, I'm done with this. I'm like, I don't need to leave the house ever again at this point. I'm going to be cooking for this next week, by the way, because I don't need to leave the house ever again.
You don't need to experience the sadness that you just experienced. Just
I don't even know what to
man
call that.
Getting 5 entrees and then want to donate? You got $1 for the kids? Nah, I'm good. Send him some orange chicken on my behalf.
You have to understand. He said, "Nah, they'll be all right."
He said they'll be all right.
Yeah, he said they'll be all right. He acknowledged the children. Whenever because me, I'm not the best person in the world. There's a lot of times when people ask me to donate, and I just say no. All right, I can acknowledge that. All right, but you will never hear me acknowledge the children that I'm not donating to and be like, "They'll be all right."
Yeah,
you will
never know where the money's actually going. I will say that's one reason why I'll donate to certain foundations, but other ones I'm like, I don't know. Am I just giving money to a billionaire and then the kids are going to get a cent of it? Like 2%?
See, and that's the thing. You don't, but the thing is, right, like a normal person, you don't acknowledge the ones that you're not donating to.
That's crazy, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a crazy statement.
You're not allowed to say that.
It's not the kids' fault that if that's what you believe about the organization and the kids are going to get that much of this, it's not the kid. It's not their fault. It's
no, they're sick.
They're going to be all right. That is just false. They will not be all right. They're not going to be okay.
Sir, you're talking about sick children.
Your money may or may not make a difference in them living or dying, but we know for sure they're not going to be all right.
Yeah, you spent $45. I think it was $47
at least
on this food, and I was like, brother, you couldn't give one more $1, and that's what I'm saying. It's I'm not I'm not trying to pocket watch.
47-12 to an even 48, Chief.
That's all you got to do. All right, but then I was like, you know what? And then I went up, and now after his display of bad humanry, I had to donate $1. Now I have to get I have to give $1.
Slack.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody has to do the job. And going through $2 in there. No, I didn't do that. But I felt terrible. I was like, and then sorry for the girl that was serving that was in the cashier because she was baffled by that statement. She's been working all day and she's never heard somebody respond that way. She literally sat there, it was frozen. So frozen, she almost didn't ask me. and that's why I was like, I don't know if this is a smoke lay or just I just had to get off my chest. I don't even know what to call this one. Honestly.
I think you just needed the trauma dump.
Foul. Yeah, trauma dump. This is
it's definitely an offensive foul on him.
Definitely on him.
100% to the kids. The kids sat in there for a charge, and he ran through them like bowling pins.
It's 10 sickly children under the rim, and he windmill dunked over them. It was so insane.
He made sure to knee one of them in the throat on the way up.
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting there. I'm like, this didn't affect me, but it did though. Like it was like it had nothing to do with me, but I can't sit here and act like I didn't experience something terrible. I had to get off my chest, Nick.
Good. I'm glad you did. Everyone's here for you. All the time wizards and sickos and myself.
Thank you. And I almost also want to be grateful in the fact that I didn't get my ass beat. And I do want to acknowledge how lucky I am that it didn't happen. So,
well, I'm glad you could get that off your chest, team. That sounds like a traumatizing experience, but we got to get to the draft. Our starting five draft. And this week we're doing NBA fusions. So for any Dragon Ball Z fans out there, you know what we're talking about. But if you're not a Dragon Ball Z person, it's self-explanatory. It's two people fused together, and you will take, I guess, the best qualities from each player. And we can explain a little bit as we go to try to clarify what we want, because some of these may not be that obvious of like who we want. But it's my pick first.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But our stipulations.
That's
I do
right.
want to add our
Thank
stipulations.
Thank you.
So for this draft, they had to be within the positions, which it's basketball. Positions are weird. You could do their primary or their secondary positions. And it has no all-stars for our draft.
No one who's ever made an all-star game.
Yeah.
But it's all time, right? We're doing all time?
All time. Yes, all time. And again, no all-stars. But Nick, you do have the first pick this week because last week I got probably the best first pick ever.
Yeah, me too. That was a really good pick. That would be like taking Jesus in a draft of like biblical people, you know?
I pretty much went off of that. But
if we do that, Jesus might have to be off limits.
Yeah, he's gonna have to.
Yeah,
it's like Bron and Wade.
Yeah,
only one person. Go ahead, sir.
All right. So for my first fusion, I'm going to get this one out of the way because I don't want to miss out on taking this player. Give me Mike Conley fused with Jamal Crawford. Wait, no. Okay. Did Mike Conley made an all-star game?
He did.
He did.
He made one.
Shoot.
Yes. So
you know what? Okay. Pivot, Lou Williams, and Jamal Crawford.
Wait, Lou, hold on.
Lou never made All-Star game.
Did that 1 year where he was averaging 20-something. Nah, that's a good fusion. If not. But, okay, hold on. I think he did. I think you're good.
That's fine. Fact check me.
But, yes, I will just make sure.
All right, fact check complete. He did not make an All-Star game. So I got Lou. Actually, you know what? I don't want to leave him on the board, though. Lou Williams, there's a lot of overlap. They do a lot of the same things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I'm taking Lou Williams.
But you're making it better. Yeah, you pretty much made Jamal Crawford a better overall score.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Pretty much.
When it comes to like leaning fades and midi and everything, you just made him better right there.
Yeah, because I
can never hate that.
I mean, Lou Will was just a better jump shooter in general than Jamal. Jamal was great. Don't get me wrong, but I think Lou Will was just a better shooter.
There you go.
But
so yeah, defensively, y'all still got some.
Lou Will and Jamal.
Y'all still got some issues defensively, but we're not gonna worry about that. For mine, I know I have to take this player early, just so I know, because he's the perfect one for this draft. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. But it's kind of early. I might not. I'm gonna go Cade Cunningham and Peyton Pritchard.
Oh, that's a good
And-
fusion.
Yeah, and I also didn't want to pick players that were in their first or second years. But Cade's already on his second. He's about to be on. I'm pretty sure he's on his second contract.
Is his third
So-
year? Or no, fourth
No,
year.
no.
Might be Cade's fourth year.
Yeah, fourth year. So I'm pretty. He's
Yeah.
already on his he's about to be on his second contract. So I was like, I'll let it fly.
I didn't follow
So
that
we got-
rule.
No, it's fine.
I'm not going
Hey,
to.
It's fine. This is my personal thing. That's why I didn't tell you before the show started.
That's fair.
But Cade Cunningham and Peyton Pritchard was my first fusion at the
Okay.
point guard position.
That's a good. I like that one. That's really good, actually. Damn it,
Yeah,
that's really good.
that's a dog right there.
I kind of went. I turned back the pages of the history books, and that's how it's going to be for my second pick as well.
go.
At the 3, I want Lamar Odom fused with Boris Diaw.
Whoa.
Absolutely
fusion.
disgusting player.
Oh my God. The athletic Boris Diaw.
It might just
My
be LeBron.
God.
Is that LeBron? Like a
That
longer
genuinely might be
LeBron, bro?
Now, I will say, Lamar Odom wasn't exactly like the scrawniest dude, so he might be on the more heavier side. If we're
Yeah.
going,
Well, he was like
So that's-
wiry. He was strong though. He's a great defender. You know, like just like an awesome. Like if Lamar Odom is your third or fourth best player when he was like doing his thing before he started smoking
Yeah.
crack, like you were in a good spot, and that's why the Lakers were
just
awesome.
to make sure, we're talking pre-crack.
Pre-crack Lamar.
Lamar Odom.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you let that know, because somebody would comment and be like, "Hey, the crack is offsetting everything." So just to make sure, pre-crack Lamar Odom. And good pick, sir. Gotta get
Thank
that.
you.
That's
Thank
a
you.
great
Thank you.
fusion.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that one. But for my next pick, this one, you know what? It might not be the best player in the world, but I need to see it. I go in a fusion of JaVale McGee and Alfred Şengün. I need a player that can barely stay on their feet
At the
the
5?
center position.
I love
at
it.
the 5.
That's a good pick.
Now the thing is that I did this. I accidentally made the goofiest player to ever play basketball because I was thinking about a very athletic dude that never got close to an all-star, and then I was thinking about Sengun, and I was like, "Oh, make Sengun athletic," and then I was like, "Oh my God, they're gonna throw like passes back."
McGee.
Like I forgot that dude is literally gonna throw passes over his shoulder 40 feet into the stands. I'm like, why would I do that? But it's gonna be good basketball.
That's gonna be fun.
Everybody's on two in. So
Hey, if you get, I mean, Şengün is a great decision maker. So if that trumps JaVale's bad decision making,
there you
and
go.
then you get the athletic, if you get the best of everything, then that's a
There we
fantastic
go.
player.
So JaVale Sengun, and I got Cade. I got Peyton Cunningham
Okay.
at the moment.
I am going to fill my center position as well.
Mhm.
And I'm going to take Arvydas Sabonis, DeMontis' father, who was a dog. If you've never seen his tape, he was
Very
crazy. And Wemby. Fuse him with Wemby.
That's nasty because our fan supporters was a big ass dude.
He was massive. He was thick. He was athletic too, and he like
This
actually
Wemby
could,
with muscles.
yeah,
that's crazy.
pretty much, man.
I
It's
mean-
good. He was a good passer too. He's a great playmaker.
Would you say he's a better passer than Wemby now? Would you say that?
Yes,
Would we
100%.
be on record? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how good of a passer Wemby really is.
He's not bad, but I mean, Sabonis like had
he was dying.
incredible core vision.
Yeah,
like,
he
And it's crazy because
insane.
he didn't get to the NBA until he was like in his mid 30s, and he still was like a dog because Russia wouldn't let him
Yeah.
leave. He just played in like the Soviet League
That's
and
crazy.
just absolutely
Yeah.
murdered everybody.
That's crazy. He was hoarding one of the best players we've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a great
that's-
what if.
That's man. Probably
Leave it to
equally
Russia.
good, but that's a good one though. That's a good one though. I will say for my second pick, I'm also turning back the clock, and for my shooting guard, I'm going Leonardo Barbosa and Craig Hodges. One of the best 3-point shooters of all time, with the fastest dude, one of the fastest dudes of all time.
That's a good.
I'm just saying. There you go. Fusion into a fast ass 3-point shooter. The off ball potential, beautiful. Oh my God, a dude that can start and stop like Barbosa.
Yeah.
3-point shooting like Craig
The
Hodges, who
Brazilian
shot
blur,
50%
man.
one year.
Yeah, golly.
Hey,
That's a good one.
I think I'm not gonna lie, I was cooking with that one. When I made that myself.
Player.
Yeah, I think that might be. I don't know who that actually is if we were to look at the NBA, but gas. I'm happy with that one.
All right, okay. At the 4, give me Serge Ibaka with Bol. Just like shot blocking, high motor,
insane shot blocker.
Bol.
Yeah, that's actually what he's
and
supposed
also
to
a floor spacer.
Yeah, I want to say he's already good. He's already a decent shooter. I know he's not a good shooter. I know everybody gets that wrong about him.
No, he's serviceable shooter, out there. Bol.
Yeah,
but I mean,
Serge was a pretty good shooter at some point.
Yeah, Toronto Serge was a very good 3-point shooter. I mean, I wouldn't say like excellent, but he was very good.
Especially for the time. Yeah, especially for the times. That was okay. I like that one. That one has some thought behind it. Serge Ibaka, I wouldn't have thought about that. All right, then for my small forward, I have too many mixes of this one. I have 4 different options, but I'm gonna go with Michael Porter Jr. and Derrick Jones Jr.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's
Michael.
Athletic as shit, Michael Porter Jr., bro.
But now the thing is, I realized after I made it, still can't dribble.
Yeah, it's true. 0 bag.
So, yeah, I want to say it's going to be no bag, but he's going to be flying through the air or he's going to be shooting the hell out the ball. And I might make him an even better defender. So
Derrick Jones Jr. is an awesome on-ball defender. Like, I hope we didn't gloss over that in our segment, our Real Hoop Hours segment. Like, he was incredible on ball. He was by far the best on-ball defender on our team last year.
Yeah, no, I was about to say I'm gonna have to look over that. I think we acknowledged it. So I will admit if we didn't, that go ahead and blame me. Cool. But yeah, Derrick Jones and Michael Porter Jr.
I got 1 or 2 picks left because we're gonna do a 6-man, then we're gonna do coaches too. Give me Mike Bibby fused with Manu Ginobili at the 2. That is an incredible 2-way, like scoring guard.
That's nice. I get.
He might be my 1.
Yeah.
Because initially I had Mike Conley on there, but Mike Conley is, I had to sub him out because he's been an All-Star game. So I might do the Mike Bibby Manu at the 1, and then take.
That's a great 1.
The Lou Will Jamal at the 2.
That's a great 1. I gotta get it to you. He's definitely leading the basketball team.
Oh yeah.
My God. And Manu never made one?
No.
Now I think about it. Dang, that's crazy. Now again, I don't know much about the early 2000s. I will say, for everybody gets on me, you will not hear me reference the early 2000s a lot because I was a child. I was not watching a lot of that during that time. So
I started really keeping up with the NBA. I mean, I'm 27 and I started like really keeping up and like paying attention as like a child anyways. I mean, in 2011, I was 13 when the Mavs won the championship. And that was like the first time I was really locked in for like a playoffs. Like I just started watching. I don't think I even watched a game of the Trailblazers series. Like I was like saw the scores and was like, oh, cool, Mavs. And then like
there you go,
Lakers series when we swept them. I was locked in for that series, and then like obviously Thunder, and then the Miami Heat, LeBron. That was awesome, but
there we go.
People are like, oh, here's a crazy poll, Kyle Korver. No.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Those are.
I saw like I'm all here, bro. Because I started paying attention to basketball when I got 2K10. My older cousin gave me 2K10, and then I started watching basketball. And LeBron was my favorite player on the game. And then I just started watching basketball. I'm like, hey, why is it such a problem that he's leaving, guys? And everyone was like, oh, you stupid. And I was like, okay, sorry. and that, so me, 2011, anything pre-2010s, I'm not the most,
dude.
knowledgeable
Shout out.
about. I can.
My dad, his LeBron hatred started when LeBron said, I'm taking my talents to Miami. He's like, I didn't like the way he did that. It's like, I don't like him now.
I don't like how he phrased that.
Yeah. I was like, hey.
Saying that implies he has talent.
Dude, being an old sports fan is awesome. Just like, you just are stubborn and just like, he did one thing I didn't like. I hate him forever now.
Forever.
Just like,
so I'll always be a hater. That's beautiful right there.
Who cares?
And I'll always say for my draft,
Sorry,
I have one. No, y'all good, brother. For my draft, all I have is a power forward, then my sixth man. But for my power forward, I'm going Jabari Smith Jr. and Obi Toppin.
Oh my! That just melted my brain.
Now that one, that's my crown jewel. That one right there, that's probably my star player right there.
Yeah.
That perimeter defense with that much athleticism, shooting, a little bit of a handle in there. Perfect NBA player. I gotta say, anybody that says different is lying. All right,
yeah.
that is.
Jabari's having a rough year right now, but he'll figure it out. I promise.
I am 1,000% a Jabari Smith believer.
Same.
I am on record saying that he was going to be better than Paolo Banchero. I'm wrong about that, but I did say that, and I have to ride with him now for the rest of his career because of me saying that. Hey. So I will always believe in him, and I wish I actually could fuse him with Obi Toppin so that I could possibly look right. But
every once in a while you throw out a take, it doesn't work out. The Cam Whitmore take is not looking good. I stand by it. He's got all the tools. He's got all the tools.
Reason number 8,006 why I didn't start a hoop page until just a year ago. So for anybody that was wondering.
Yeah, I got people like victory lapping me. Like 15 games into the season, relax. That Cam Whitmore is like not playing well, like sliding in the rotation.
Hey man, calm down.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you got 5, I got 5.
Yep.
It's time for the 6th man, and
yes, that Lou Will and Jamal pick seems like this would have been perfect here.
Thing is, I took the Lou Will pick from my 6th man. So now I got to replace it, and my other ones don't really work, but we're going to go out. We're going to go out on a limb here, and we're going to take Jordan Clarkson and Jason Terry.
Oh, okay. Hold on, because Jason Terry is a sneaky good defender too. So that's okay. Hold on, that's a good recovery on that one.
That was off top. Not gonna lie, I was just like, not good non-all-star guard, good non-all-star guard. Jordan Clarkson.
I mean, honestly, to pull that out of the hat, that's pretty good. Honestly, I get that to you.
You know what? What might work a little better is Colin Sexton. That one's free if you want to use him. But anyways,
I'm definitely.
I'm taking Jordan. Jordan, Jason Terry. Jordan Clarkson, Jason Terry.
Yeah, I will say I'm definitely not using that. Colin Sexton, but I like where you're going with that. But for my 6th man, I'm not sure the direction I want to go. But you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna let it fly. Sean Livingston and Steve Kerr.
Just like a 6'8" point guard with a burner.
with a burner and a midi. An absolute midi. Now,
turnaround middies for days. Turnaround midi 3.
Oh my God. It's gonna be beautiful.
Not midi 3.
Now,
turnaround fade 3.
I will admit, defensively, not the greatest player I could have made. I will admit.
Sean's a great defender.
He wasn't. I want to say no, but the thing is, like, I wanted to get another player that could play defense with it. 6'8", burner, and play defense. That Steve Kerr's gonna bring him down, man. Especially today's basketball.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr's gonna bring him down. And but that's the thing, is that's like I personally love the direction of a 6'8" turnaround point guard off the bench. Oh my God. that's how you get it done right there.
You got a lot of
yeah,
I mean that with the Michael Porter Jr. Who was it? Who was your fusion with him?
Michael Porter and Derrick Jones.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of like 6'8" guys that shoot threes.
Oh yeah.
6'9".
This is modern basketball right here. So
there you go.
Go ahead. Yes, Sean and Steve Kerr.
All right. So for my coaches,
yes,
I'm gonna go because I know I'm not gonna pick your guy that I know you want.
And I appreciate that.
Give me Rick Carlisle and Eric Spoelstra, 2011 matchup. Just best offenses ever. I mean, in the past 4 years,
beautiful
Rick Carlisle has had 2 of the best offenses of all time. In 2020 in Dallas and then 2023 in Indiana.
Indiana, yep.
Last season, regular season, Indiana Pacers were the best offense,
that
most efficient
offense, bro.
of all time. He said in an interview, he's like, I don't coach defense anymore. There's no point. He's like, he said that when he was the Mavs head coach. It's like, whoa, that's crazy.
I mean,
defensive mastermind, culture guy, Rick Carlisle, boom. 0 emotional intelligence, offensive mastermind, perfect head coach.
That's okay. Your coach is definitely better than what mine's going to come out to be.
Yours is going to be fun, though. I know that.
Yeah. So for mine, it's going to be Mike D'Antoni and Tom Thibodeau.
And Tibbs?
And Tibbs. We are talking about a coach that absolutely is going to be an absolute insane mastermind on the offense end, but will never take any of those dudes out of the game. It's going to be amazing.
Dude, they're shooting the ball every 7 seconds and running a 6-man rotation. That is insane. I'm all about it. I'm
not even gonna lie. That combination is easily gonna lead to the best team ever or the biggest wasted talent that we've ever seen in the history of basketball. Most injuries
ever.
Oh my God.
Most stress fractures on a team.
Because the thing is, the thing is about Tibbs is that the only thing that makes Tibbs a stable coach now is that he doesn't try that much to like change around stuff. Yeah, make him D'Antoni. My God, you are gonna see the wildest suggestions you've ever seen. Now the thing is also, Tom Thibodeau, great defensive coach. Offensively, doesn't really know that much for some reason. It just kind of just goes out there and throws the most simple offenses he can. But you throw D'Antoni, who doesn't know what simple offense is. He doesn't even remotely understand how to do nothing but simple offense. So that would be
match made in heaven.
Good coach. Yeah, match made in heaven. Now, again, will we have some injuries? 1,000%. All right. Will we have to have a really good medical staff? Extremely good. Best in the market. But
spend a little money.
But as an organization, we're gonna spend our money in that medical team. We're gonna have everybody together.
Best training facility in the world.
Oh, dudes are gonna go in there. They're going straight to the hyperbolic time chamber. They're not going right after the game. They don't get to see their families or nothing. Straight to the chamber, rest in there,
stretches, and then get ready for your ice bath and electromagnetic therapy. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'd say they're good. They're probably like 2 years away from making that, but yeah, there we go.
Hey, they do have stem, like the little pads that like shock you a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's kind
Tibbs
of.
Probably
I guess
has.
it's
Tibbs probably already
TENS
has
unit, not
on
stem. TENS unit. That's right.
Yeah, I was say I didn't know the name of it. I didn't know what you were talking about, but I was like, Tibbs is already on it. Yeah.
Oh, you said Tibbs. I thought you said the name of it's called like a TENS unit, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you had that. Yeah. I thought that was what you said. I was like, yeah, that's it.
No, every time I try to say the name, I sound stupid. That's why
my brain's fried right now.
But I will go over teams.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nick, you want to go first because you got first pick?
Yeah, I can go first.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. I can go first.
Okay.
So I got my point guard is Mike Bibby fused with Manu Ginobili. My shooting guard is Lou Will fused with Jamal Crawford. My small forward is Lamar Odom fused with Boris Diaw. My 4 is Serge Ibaka fused with Bol Bol. My center is Arvydas Sabonis fused with Wemby. And my 6th man is Jordan Clarkson fused with Jason Terry.
Okay.
Oh, and then the coach, Rick Carlisle and Eric Spoelstra.
I'm not gonna lie, that coaching pool,
it's a squad.
I'll be squad because the
we're
no
maximizing
all-star
our talent.
Oh yeah. Oh,
2 guys known to polish turds of rosters, by the way. So
that's beautiful. They're taking the no all-star label off of that, and now just getting the best coaches.
Oh, that's all the motivation Spoelstra needs to get the most out of his guys. Of just like they never named you an all-star. Like they don't think that you can do it.
I don't know if that's the same situation for the dudes on the other side, but don't worry about that. No, it's gonna be amazing.
Oh, Missoula would work too.
Oh yeah, but hey, for another draft.
Yeah.
For mine, at point guard, we got Cade Cunningham fused with Peyton Pritchard, known as Cade Pritchard. We got the shooting guard. We got Leonardo Barbosa and Craig Hodges, other known as Leonardo Hodges. I almost said Bodges.
Leonardo Bodges.
Yeah, that's hard though. But at the small forward, we got Michael Porter Jr. and Derrick Jones Jr. mixed together, which I don't have to change the junior, just Michael Jones Jr. Sounds like a mechanic. At the power forward, we got Jabari Smith and Obi Toppin, other known as Obi Smith. That sounds like a Star Wars character.
Obi Smith. That's crazy.
That's disgusting. And then at the center, I got JaVale McGee and Alfred Sengun, other known as JaVale Sengun. And at the 6th man, I got Sean Livingston, and Steve Kerr mixed together. And Coach
JaVale Sengun is crazy, bro. That's the weirdest name ever.
You'll never find that name on the planet, by the way.
JaVale Sengun. We coached against we had a game last Friday, and I was looking at the scouting report, and there was a kid on the scouting report named Altrez Spelton, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
That is the wildest name we'll see all year.
But yes, if let's say Ngoo gets a black wife, that name will never happen on the history.
JaVale Sengun.
That would never happen. And for my coaches, I got Mike D'Antoni and Tom Thibodeau. We're going Tom D'Antoni for our coaches.
It's got a good ring to it.
So, yes, there we go. Let us know how we did. I feel like I personally won that, but we no.
Yeah, I would disagree there.
But hey, that's just how you feel.
No one is stopping Arvydas Wembanyama. I'm sorry.
That's such a crazy name.
Arvydas Wembanyama.
That's just that they made that a 2K.
Who is guarding Lou Crawford? I gotta know.
I mean, I don't. Nobody wants to. I'll say it like that. But hey, it's a pretty good draft right there. But that is it for our starting 5 draft. Nick, I know you had a great time. I definitely did. I will say the coaches, we need them in real life. But just to lead us out of here, right before we end our show, we have our extremely specific NBA trivia. And this is something that we ask every single time at the end of the show. And right now we are at 0-0. And we're probably in maybe 1-0, hopefully at the best. And you have to get within a 0.1 decibel point to be able to get the question right. And Nick, I will let you start off with your trivia for this week.
So, Kyrie Irving leads the NBA in loose balls recovered per game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What is that number?
All right. I was hoping you was going to ask a different question. But that's
usually the way these go.
Yeah, I was about to say, the question I don't want you to ask is what you ask. Per game. Did you say?
Loose balls recovered per game. I don't even know what qualifies as I guess just like a 50-50 ball.
That's what I'm saying.
I guess it's like, yeah.
Okay. Because a rebound technically counts as that too. Okay.
I bet there's like some sort of stipulation where it has to like have bounced like twice without anyone touching it for it to technically be like a loose ball.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because isn't that not just a steal? God dang it. Okay, I'm asking too many questions. So now I realize I have zero understanding of where to start this number at. The number that's calling for my name is 3.8. We're gonna go 3.8 loose ball recoveries per game.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
That is incorrect. The answer is 1.2.
Oh my god.
And actually, Luka is tied for third with 1.1.
What is going on in the Mavericks right now? If we got hustles, is that even a hustle?
The Mavericks love themselves some loose balls.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, goddamn it, I hate you.
The pause
is that
game.
even like but I say if you're in a conversation about best hustle players in the NBA, can I use that?
Yeah,
is that a usable stat?
What we call, it's not a real stat that is tracked, but like in high school basketball, it's like we got to win 50-50 balls. We're not winning the 50-50 balls today. Yeah. Like that's like, it like for whatever happens, like it deflects off someone and then it's like two guys are converging on the ball at the same time. It's like first to the floor, 50-50 balls, like I don't know. I guess you could use that.
I guess, yeah. How about say future?
Josh Okogie leads the league in loose balls recovered per 36, though.
Oh God, I don't want to hear that stat every day.
I love the hustle stat page of NBA.
No, I hate per 36.
Per 36 is
oh
stupid.
My God, I hate it. It pisses me off so much. But
that's my number one argument in my J Huff campaign.
Yeah. See,
give him minutes,
I watched
dude.
that video too. I was like,
per 36
I know
is
he
nuts.
Say per 36.
He's better than Edie, bro. He's better. Just give him all the minutes. Give him all the minutes, all the money. Trade Edie.
Dog, I saw somebody make the argument that Jalen Brunson was like better than Steph Curry's MVP season off per 36. Do you want to know what year this was?
Get out of here. I don't even want to hear it.
The year before he left the Mavericks. I was like, slap somebody. It was such man. It was so terrible. But I'm gonna go into my trivia because I am now tied to the Cleveland Cavaliers until they lose a basketball game. I am now not allowed to make any trivia that's not about the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Fair.
And if I'm gonna talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, I will talk about their best player, Donovan Mitchell. And the one thing I want to ask you, Nick, is what was Donovan Mitchell's effective field goal percentage his rookie year?
Oh, shoot.
Yep.
Can I ask a question about effective field goal percentage?
You definitely can.
Is that the one that's normally higher than regular field goal percentages, or is it normally lower, or does it vary?
Normally higher.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Unless you're actually I can't even say. Most of the time will be higher unless you're legit bad.
Okay.
Like,
probably if you don't get a lot of shots up.
There's dudes who effective field goal percentages are like 20%. And they're shooting like 30% for the field. It's like they're just garbage. That's different.
Okay, his rookie year in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good year, but he averaged like 18 to 20 a game. I'm going to say...
Don't let the milk distract you.
Milk. That caught me so off guard.
That distracted you, my fault. See?
It did. I was like looking down. I wasn't even looking at the screen. Okay. I'm gonna go 57%. 57.3.
Final answer?
No. 57.9. Final answer.
57.9.
Yes.
Is your final answer, sir?
Yes.
That is wrong. It's very wrong. The reason I asked is because people always think it's a lot better than it really was. It was 50.6 effective field goal percentage.
I thought you were about to tell me that it was 57.3, and I was going to be devastated.
Hell no, I would have loved it if that's what you said. I would have loved it, but no, it was like 50. It was 50.6 his rookie year, which weirdly, as I looked at his effective field goal percentage, that's like the lowest that he's ever had.
What was his field goal percentage?
His regular field goal percentage was 43.
Okay,
which for a guard, rookie guard, that's actually extremely good. I just thought about that.
Yeah, I just figured like he had such a good rookie year. I was like, he probably shot like 46, 47 from the field. And so his effective field goal was probably like somewhere around 57, 58.
Yeah, it would have been somewhere around that. But like for a rookie guard to shoot 44
solid.
and average 20 points.
Especially that's getting a ton of volume on shots.
That's pretty
great.
How impressive.
Solid.
But we are still 0-0.
0-0. But
on this board. Hopefully one day we get close.
One day.
Actually.
Well,
yeah, I don't know how many of these were even close yet.
we really haven't been close yet. I don't know. I still think it's fun.
Yeah, I say we're gonna get it done one day though. One day.
Maybe we'll do some with like where you guess the like people, like rather than saying Kyrie Irving did this, what was the number of like who is in third for deflections per game in the NBA?
Yeah, that might be. You know what? That might be.
We'll talk it through.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But for now, we're not even close.
No.
For 0-0, and one day we'll get one, and that will be a glorious day.
But that day was not today. Yeah. And with that, folks, that is our show. Thank you so much for listening. Mm-hmm. If you're listening on Spotify, we appreciate you. Leave a review. Leave a 5-star review. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, write a review and then leave 5 stars. I don't know how that one works. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Real Hoop Hours on YouTube. Real Hoop Hours podcast on social. We appreciate everyone. And share with your friends. If you have some other just sick bastards that love basketball as much as you do because you're listening to this, send them the show. It's been so cool to hear like feedback from everyone, people that I don't know, the people that just follow me because I check my requests, and like people that comment on videos or DM me and say like, man, I've been listening to the show. It's awesome. Like that means so much. So we appreciate y'all. Yeah. But until next time, until next Wednesday, for my man Heem, Slim Dookie, signing off.
Yes, sir. Time Wizards.
Wizards. Peace.